Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Soul Urge 2. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So before we start, you first want to make sure that you have the correct calculations. So on the screen here, I have a chart of how to get to your soul urge number. You want to use this formula, and the way to do this is to take your full name at birth and to take out the vowels. You want to add up all of the vowels in your name. And in some cases, the Y will be a vowel as well, which is why it is highlighted in green. So depending upon how your name is set up, that Y will be a vowel or a consonant. You want to take all of the vowels in your first name, add them up until you get to a single digit or a master number of 11, 22, or 33. Then you want to take all of the vowels in your middle name, add them up until you get to that single digit, add up all of the vowels in your last name, and then you want to take the number that you got when adding up your first name, middle name, and last name together until you get to that single digit. Now, for some of you, you may find that you get to 11. If that is the case, then you want to hold on to that number. We will talk about Soul Urge 11 in a future video. If you ended up with a 2, then this will be for you. So the 2 is ruled over by the moon, and the moon is all about absorbing things. It absorbs the light of the sun, and so this is a very sensitive influence. The moon here gives a lot of sensitivity, a lot of psychic awareness, a lot of absorbing energies from around you within your environment. So this is going to be a very sensitive number. Now the 2 is also a part of a trio of numbers of the 2, 4, and 8. And I talked about in a previous video how my own soul urge number is an 8, which is about creating that stability through generating abundance through a large picture vision. So that 8 was more of a eccentric number in comparison to the 2 and the 4. The 4 is going to be the most concrete. It is all about building that solid foundation and working hard towards one's goals. The 2 is very similar. It is also trying to create a sense of stability. But the 2 has more to do with peace, love, harmony. Again, the moon is giving this sensitivity. So this will be one of our shorter videos because there's actually only 1 or 2 ways to end up with a 2 as your soul urge number. And that is if you calculated your name and got to a 2, which is less likely. Many of you will most likely add up your numbers and get to a 20, and this is how you will arrive at this 2. So the 20 is going to be very similar to the 2 itself, except it has that 0 attached to it. So 0 is the number of the infinite, of the divine. It is all about the spiritual. So this is going to increase that spirituality, that intuitive nature that the 2 already has. And the 2 is often referred to as the nurturer, the caretaker, or the peacemaker. And so this is very strong with this soul urge 2, because the soul urge is all about your underlying motivations. It is your desires in life, what drives you, what gives you the energy and purpose to make things happen. So you want to see how your soul urge number compares to other numbers in your numerology. This will show you how this 2 will play out in your life. The 2 again is going to give you this energy, this drive, this motivation. But how does that compare to your expression number or your life path number, which will show how you will express these qualities out in the world? So as a soul urge 2, you will have a huge desire for love, for relationships, for companionship, which we will talk about a little bit later in this video when we get to the section on relationships. But this is a number that has a strong need to connect, a strong need to create a sense of unity and harmony within relationships. So this is a very loving number. Those of you with a soul urge 2 may find that you are having a lot of difficulties dealing with conflicts, that conflicts make you shy away from situations. There's an urge to escape from situations of conflicts, of disagreements, of arguments. You are a very peaceful person. You like to create these situations of harmony. And so you want to be cautious around this because you may find that there is a need for you to stand up, to speak your truth, even in those situations that are very challenging, that are very sensitive for you to deal with those conflicts. You don't want to continue to condition yourself to escape from situations of conflicts, but to find ways to harmonize within those conflicts, to use the skills that you have, because as a soul urge 2, you have the natural ability to negotiate, to persuade, to create situations of peace. And so using these abilities that you have to mediate, to come to a sense of agreement, this is your purpose in those situations where you need to resolve a conflict. As a soul urge 2, as I've said, the moon is going to give you a lot of sensitivity. So you may find that when you are in a situation dealing with others, that you are very receptive to others' emotions. You are picking up on the energies within your environment. And you want to be careful with this in terms of losing yourself in other people. There is a tendency to lose your own sense of identity while taking on the feelings of others around you. So again, there's a huge amount of sensitivity. Now, one of your superpowers with this sensitivity is the ability to pick up on other people's needs and feelings before they are even aware of this. And this makes you a natural caretaker. You understand how to support others before they're actually aware that they need this support. You have a natural instinct of knowing how to care for other people. And this strong sensitivity and intuition that you have makes you an excellent counselor, makes you someone who is able to give guidance to others. Oftentimes, the 2 in numerology is a leader. However, it is more of a leader from behind the scenes. You have a way of really taking someone's ideas and ensuring that they will succeed. You are the leader behind someone else's success. So a lot of the time, you're in the background guiding others, giving people support, directing them where they need to go. As a soul urge 2, though, because you are so loving, so accepting, so much about supporting others, there is a need to set stronger boundaries for yourself because sometimes you have a tendency to give and give to others, and this leaves you feeling empty. This leaves you drained, exhausted. So there is a need to know your limit in terms of how much you are giving to others. There really is a need to come back to yourself and to really pay attention to your own needs to make sure that you are taken care of before continuing to just give to other people. So having this sense of boundaries in place in your life becomes very important. And another area where boundaries are needed is in terms of trusting people. Again, you have this openness where you want to connect with others, want to relate to others. But sometimes this means that you can put your trust in the wrong people. You have a way of seeing the good in others, a way of seeing the potential in others. But sometimes there is a need to know how to say no or to set the proper boundaries in certain situations. You also can become very moody at times when other people step over your boundaries. So again, this is all about setting those proper boundaries. If you find yourself in a situation where you are a doormat or where you are putting out too much for others and not getting anything in return, it is important that you are making your feelings known, that you are expressing yourself, that you're standing up for yourself. Otherwise, there is a tendency to hold on to resentment. There's a tendency to come across as very kind and loving, but to have this inner frustration within yourself that you're not openly expressing with others. And this is, again, coming from this desire to create harmony around yourself. But you really want to be able to express your needs, to make your needs known to others so that they are not taking advantage of you. As a soul urge 2, you may also find that others feel really comfortable around you. You have a way of creating a space of comfortability that invites others and that makes others open to expressing their deeper self to you. So you have a way of really connecting and relating to people on a deeper level. And what's interesting about this soul urge too is that sometimes at the surface you can appear to be a little bit tough or closed off at times. Again, there's a little bit of a shyness to this number 2. But as people begin to get to know you, you come across as someone who is very soft, very compassionate. And this makes others feel open to you. This makes others feel open to sharing their vulnerabilities and difficulties with you. And again, this is an area where you want to be able to set the proper boundaries, because sometimes you have a tendency to take on other people's problems to the point where it becomes draining or exhausting. So you have to know your limit. You have to be able to take care of yourself and your needs. This becomes extremely important for your mental health, along with your physical health and your life in general. As a soul urge too, you also can be someone who is extremely creative, extremely imaginative. You have a rich inner world. And so oftentimes what I see with the 2, for anyone who has this prominently placed in their numerology, is a love for music, a love for art, a love of expressing yourself in some way. So there is a creative side to this as well. And this can be very healing for you to have this connection with music, with creativity. This takes you away from all of these heavy burdens and sensitivities that you're experiencing out in the world. You oftentimes also don't like to take sides in an argument. Again, you have this strong need for diplomacy, which also is coming along with this need to create a neutral situation. So you have a tendency to be able to see from both sides. You're able to listen and understand others deeply. And again, this is going to make you an excellent mediator, an excellent diplomat, an excellent negotiator. You have this ability to really understand and see where others are coming from in an unbiased way. Sometimes your need to be loved can create some difficulties for you. There is a tendency to want to, again, create this space of unity and harmony, but you can find that there are people who are not harmonious like you. So there is a tendency to find yourself in situations where you are trying to receive the love that you need, but there is a tendency to attract toxic people who are not able to give you this sense of love and peace. So again, this goes along with the need to be discerning about others and to create boundaries so that you're not easily trusting or allowing others in who really are not adding any kind of value to your life. So, as I've said, you have this desire for unity, for coming together with people. And this makes you excellent in teamwork. You are excellent in social situations. You love to create a space where you can bring people together to achieve a common goal or for a common cause. You are all about teamwork, and this is something that tends to fuel your purpose and determination. You are extremely hardworking and motivated in situations where you can relate and be with other people. And because you have this tendency to connect and relate with others, and you are very sensitive, picking up on other people's emotions, there is a need sometimes to really, again, take that time to yourself, to develop your own sense of identity, to develop your own talents and individuality, not getting too lost in these connections, but really staying in tune with who you really are. You also want to be careful because you are so much about supporting others, you can go unnoticed at times. And in some situations, others can even take credit for your work. Others can see you, again, as this doormat. So in this area, you want to set those proper boundaries. You want to have that sense of individuality, making sure that your own needs are met. This becomes extremely important for you because, again, you are someone who is operating from behind the scenes rather than being someone who is in the front lines. As a soul urge too, you love to plan. You love to create order. You like to see things through, to have that sense of security for yourself. And so you are someone who can get a lot of work done, who can achieve a lot. And again, this goes along with your ability to operate from behind the scenes. Another skill that you have is that you love to learn. You love to gather information. And because you are so behind the scenes, you are a great listener, a great observer. So you tend to learn through experience of really observing the people around you, observing the different situations, and using this to your advantage to understand what are the right moves to take, what are the issues or situations to avoid, and how do you get yourself out of tricky situations. You tend to learn this through your ability to relate and empathize with others around you. Along with this, the soul urge too can also have a love of spirituality, a love of mysticism. You can be drawn to psychic things, to things that can help you to improve and better your life along with the lives of others around you. Again, this moon energy is all about this intuition, this connection with emotion and connecting with all people around you. And this zero energy combined with this too is giving that increase in that psychic awareness. So, what are some careers for Soul Urge 2? Soul Urge 2 can do really well in anything that involves communication, anything that involves sales, hospitality. Again, you are all about helping others, all about being of service, nurturing others. So, the hotel industry, restaurant chains, you are someone who does really well in these service positions. Along with communication through interacting with others, you can also make an excellent writer, because once again, twos have this deep way of thinking, this deep imagination that is connected to that moon energy. So you tend to be very imaginative. You can bring your creations to life, and this can make you skilled in other areas such as music, art, literature. So this is an excellent position for this. As a soul urge too, you could also make an excellent psychic, an excellent healer, an excellent counselor. You can be involved in the medical field. Again, anything that is related to serving others, to helping others. You also can play an excellent role in positions where you are counseling, mediating, again, where you're in those situations where you are the leader from behind the scenes, guiding others, giving others the motivation to see their goals through. You make an excellent assistant with this soul urge too. So let's talk about relationships for soul urge 2. Soul urge 2, because you are so loving, so much about togetherness, sometimes you can have a tendency to have a huge desire for love that is sometimes unhealthy. There can be a tendency to become clingy in this area. Again, this is going to be especially for a soul urge 2 who hasn't really done as much work on themselves. There's this tendency to desire love so much that you are getting yourself into these situations quickly with intense passion and getting yourself into situations that don't necessarily last or don't necessarily fulfill you. So there is a tendency here to become a hopeless romantic and to fall in love quickly. As a soul urge 2, you are someone who seeks loyalty, who seeks trust in relationships. Having that sense of security, of unity, of harmony becomes very important to you. And you make an excellent partner because you, again, are very harmonious, very loving, very non-judgmental. You're able to see from another person's perspective, and you're able to pick up on the needs of others as well. And this makes you an excellent partner. You just want to be careful that you're not losing yourself in relationships or jumping into codependent situations. It is very important that you understand your needs and that you're not continuing to give, or that you're not finding yourself in relationships based upon a need to give to others. It is very important that you are making sure that your needs are met and that you're having that sense of balance and harmony.